Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and we are pumped to come to you today from the Milwaukee booth here at Equip Expo 2025. What a setup we have. I'm excited. I'm not going to do some crazy long intro. We're going to dump right in, right? We're going to get straight into today's topic, and I tell you what, we're not just going to sit here and talk about Milwaukee tools all day, so it's okay. You don't have to click off. This is going to be one of the most enjoyable conversations I've had on the podcast in a while. This is on the heels of a conversation we had back in, when was Pipeline? August? September? Yeah. So, and we're going to dive into a lot of things. Trades, apprenticeships, certifications, the way to grow to the green industry. I'm super excited for it. So we're here with Ryan from Milwaukee. He's the Senior Vice President of OPE there at Milwaukee, and I'm excited to bring you on the show, man. Thank you so much for sitting down and making the time to do this.
No, I'm happy. This is exciting for us. I mean, this is everyone here. This is kind of their Super Bowl for outdoor power equipment. Everyone's dedicated to this industry and dedicated to landscape and tree care professionals, and this is our opportunity to showcase everything they've worked on over the last couple years. And, we live in the future. We live in 1, 2, 3 years out, and a lot of the show is excited to talk about what it's going to look like. And this is a shared audience where everyone has the same vision and trying to build that inside of their businesses, inside of their organization, and what a great place to have those conversations.
That is something that's crazy. So what is you say you live 2-3 years in advance. What does that process look like for Milwaukee when it comes to innovation, new tools, looking to the future? How do you live 2-3 years in advance? What does that process look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hear a lot of this industry talk about, hey, we want to fully electrify a trailer. We want to fully convert. I think there's also a reality, and you see it inside of Milwaukee, that we want to meet the user where they're at and bring them productive and safe innovation that is a difference maker in terms of what they're doing day in and day out. Some of that you have to predict and kind of skate where the puck is going. To say it, you
got to get ahead of it,
right? Others, you've got to call your own shot and say, this is what I think is going to drive a compelling, productive, unique solution for what I understand the landscaper needs, what I understand the tree care professional needs. And you do that by absorbing feedback from users day in and day out.
Yeah.
And this audience, the group here, our product management team does a great job of spending countless hours with professionals, understanding and really building a shared understanding of what are their biggest pain points, how do we solve them. Now, you merge that with a technology curve that, is, hey, there's one thing to say that AI and EVs and, what smartphones and tablets and compute can do now is in this world. Look, that's ahead of where we are.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking technology and then bridging it into a user who really hasn't embraced technology for the last 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
And so we have to be able to carve that in a way that both is understandable, isn't overly disruptive to their day in the life, and again goes back to meeting the user where they're at. So we've got to kind of predict 2 years, 3 years out what users that we really value and how do we intersect them in a way that we know is driving productivity to them. And it's not coming and saying, hey, here's a fully electrified trailer and everything you need is ready to go. One low price of $75,999.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
No.
That's not how these guys run their business. So you have to listen to them and build a shared interest and say, where are we starting this journey? In some ways, it's understanding that they can do value-added services by taking on an M18 sprayer, M18 pruning shears that actually
small steps.
Yeah, that gets them familiar and building credibility in battery powered technology that says this is really reliable.
Yeah.
And I understand now that, hey, I'm going to run this on a string trimmer and a blower, and now I got lower vibration, I've got lower noise, I've got a productive unit that's actually replacing gas. Okay, how do I actually get some meaningful investment in batteries?
Yeah.
And you got to prove that through a credible experience, and it's not just about throwing a bunch of technology, in a 2-3 year time horizon. It's understanding, like, how do they work? How do you drive productivity? And at the end of the day, like, one of our other key pillars is safety. Are you making them safer at the end of the day so they go home from work and they don't feel it taxing on their body? They can go home to their kids, their family, and enjoy their time that they have, and it doesn't feel like at the end of it that they did a full day of landscaping. We hear that a lot.
That's so good, man. Like, you don't realize, I think, what that is to me. Hearing that as a landscape professional, as somebody who has a touch on the industry of like what people are saying, what are they doing? Guys all the way from a solo guy up to many crews, many employees. I was talking to a guy in the hallway today. Just acquired a company in Ohio, and it was him and a partner acquired a company, had 15 or 20 guys. The dude was using sticky notes and a pen pad, right? Like, from guys that are doing it solo to guys that are running a multi-million-dollar operation, that tech just isn't in their business, right? You cannot, if you went to that company and said, here, pay me $80,000 for an all battery powered trailer, they would literally laugh you out of the room, right? Like, I would have nothing to do with you. Credibility gone from day one, right?
100%.
So hearing that you have that thumbprint on the industry and like, this is actually where we're going with this, that's so encouraging. And I can't really like emphasize it anymore of like, that is how you start, right? That is how you do. You get one or two pieces of equipment, right? Everybody out there has a Milwaukee Impact, right? So you're running an M18 there. Grab you a tool-only thing that you can use in the green space, right? And throw your M18 battery from your Impact on there and see what happens, right? That is one thing that I have seen the last couple of weeks and months as I've used more and more of this OPE from Milwaukee is like, one, the stuff, it works, right? It actually works very, very well. But I would be in line if I said I wasn't hesitant going into it, right? Like, it had to build credibility for me a little bit. So everyone out there is feeling the same thing.
Yeah, and I think we have a kind of a unique challenge in and of ourselves is, hey, we started the lithium curve in power tools.
Yeah.
And we started, in 2007, 2008 saying, hey, I think we can deliver corded tool replacement with battery power technology for the job site. We started looking and saying, hey, how can you look at other power sources, pneumatics, gas eventually came. But we have a system that's 15 years old, and the things that keep our teams up at night is how do I make that system relevant 15 years from now?
Exactly.
And not break that compatibility. What you have in between there is a mix of batteries that, hey, are really well suited to do compact, lightweight applications on repeat that aren't going to be really taxing from a power and energy hungry standpoint. OPE, however, is both of those things. I need a lot of power and I need a lot of energy constantly in order to deliver that duty cycle. So we do have technology in our battery like Forge, 8.0, 12.0 packs that really are built for OPE to deliver that duty cycle. However, full compatibility, if in a pinch I needed to complete a cut, I can throw in a smaller pack.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that experience is tailored to the right technology, but it is full platform diversity. And I we talk about that user journey starting with credibility. And we build our business on credibility from, hey, I want a reliable experience. I also want to tell you honestly what it's capable of.
Yeah.
Without being like, 240 minutes of runtime. Well, what you didn't tell me is that's on low.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I can't even do any work.
Yep.
And what I want to be able to tell the user is what does it do on high and how does that compare to what they expect from gas?
Yeah.
What I also want to tell you is that you're going to get constant power delivery. And you're not going to have this ride down a curve so that I can deliver a longer life and on a box deliver a runtime claim. Because it's got to perform like gas. That journey started for us with mechanical, electrical, plumbing professionals. And everybody knows about impact drivers. You referenced impact drivers a minute ago. everybody knows the impact driver is the most universal tool amongst tradesmen, amongst mechanics, amongst, everybody has it.
Homeowner. I mean, any man has an impact somewhere.
Right. And M18, impacts are really important to M18, but when we first started, we said it can't rely on the impact driver for us to build the system. Yeah. Same with M12. What we did is we went and said we need things like a copper tubing cutter that made a plumber's job easier, saved their elbow, got work done faster. They could do more hookups and setups faster, cleaner, and more capably. You had things for an electrician, like we had a no-hub bander that was custom for installing, pipe above ground, and very custom application that wasn't about high diversity and high utilization, but it was to entrench users into system products so they understand, hey, I already have this battery to do this custom application, crimping, cutting. Now my impacts, my drills, they got to be best in class, but now that's my impact brand because of all my other tools. I see the landscaper on that journey the same way we were with plumber, electrical, mechanical in 2008, 2009, and showing them credible solutions like we're talking about in pruning, in hedge trimming, in sprayer is going to make them understand why we have a best-in-class top handle or chainsaw or a best-in-class blower, string trimmer. Because they say, oh, I'm invested in these value-added enhancement and highly productive solutions that make me want to leverage those packs against the things that are the most demanding, and Milwaukee holds up to it. If I lead every story with, oh, we have the world's greatest string trimmer. I mean, we've seen so many world's greatest claims. World's greatest blower. Hey, again, that's a very short-lived promise. And every competitor is going after that. What I want to say is we will make you the most productive professional.
Across the board.
And you invest in our system, and we are investing and matching your investment every single day with technology, with capability, and with a breadth of line that's going to allow you to say, I can put these batteries to work and do more throughout my day. And now I have more services I can provide my accounts, my field of work, and it makes my business grow.
It's something that it's really resonating with me. And again, we have started implementing some of these tools into our everyday use case now, and knowing that I can take the battery off of this, go put on another tool, the value there is just tremendous. You're going to spend money on it anyway. You might as well spend some money on something that you can get multiple uses out of with different types of tools and settings and things. And that's all really, it's really cool, and it's really just energizing for me to see, okay, the tech is coming, right? Because you also pair this ability with the tech of one key, right, that Milwaukee has, with the tech of being able to track some of this stuff and know where it's at, right? You can lock the battery. Can't you lock tools? I'm pretty sure. Theft happens. You can literally shut the tool down.
Control it. You can protect it. This is the MX backpack blower that leverages one key, and you're seeing some of that technology suite bridge into a number of other solutions across Milwaukee. And that's both two things. That's a sizable investment. Right. I want to know that it's in a place where I left it. And I also want to know that in the hands of the crew that I trusted it with, it's coming back.
Exactly.
And now you have the control of being able to say, I can make that thing worthless if it walks. But I also know where it is. And that's an important value. Now, what we did with the one key system on the backpack blower was also give the user control. So, hey, we know runtime is a challenge in some environments, and if I just go all in on the trigger at high power, I'm gonna burn through that pack a lot faster, and I might not need that level of performance in order to get my routine work done. You can lock in to a mode so that you can deliver runtime, or you can lock into a mode so that you're maximizing productivity and give your fleet, your crew, your individual the ability to get the most out of it.
It's guaranteed.
That flexibility. Hey, I think we're very early in that. I'm not saying that's for everybody. Some people don't want to be told I can't use the highest mode. But I think what you're hearing from us is that, and we understand that runtime And it's not always just about having 4 or 5 extra batteries. These batteries are not, they're not easy to acquire, and they're not easy to maintain. I have to give you ways to be productive with the energy that you have. And we're listening on how we can continue to bridge that, both through pack investment, both through more capable batteries, electronics, motor systems, efficiency, but giving the user the ability to decide how this stuff is most productive to them, seasonality-wise, right?
Yeah.
Let the user
take and do with it what they may.
That autonomy.
Yeah, that's such good stuff. I mean, so here's the thing, right? So you talk tools, you talk compatibility, different use cases, right? There's no point in having tools if you have a business that can't run itself, right? You got a business that doesn't make any money. You have guys that show up and don't know what they're doing, right? They don't know how to use the tools. What's the point in having them? Can't get anything done, right? So this is where I kind of wanted to bring you in this conversation. We've had some off-air conversations about this, and I'm excited to see kind of what we can do in the future to continue this, because I have a huge passion for, like, growing men, growing leaders that are running, like, leading families, growing businesses, leading others out there, other employees in their companies, right? But then at the same time, growing this space, the green industry, to a space where it is like, hey, we're tech companies with really skilled labor, with really skilled people on board. We're not just out there like brute force anymore, right? And this comes through like Milwaukee. So I got to go to the Pipeline event in August, and y'all talked like very heavily, showed a lot of presentations on how involved you are in certification programs and apprenticeship programs and trades and in all the different trades, right? Well, green industry is like way behind the ball on that, like way, way, way behind the ball as far as getting stuff set up and done in that. And so talk to me a little bit about like Milwaukee's passion behind that in the trades, because again, you talk building credibility with batteries, build a little credibility with Milwaukee and what you're doing in the trades, right? Because as we further this conversation and we dive into some of this over the next year or two, and we're like, okay, how do we get tradespeople in the green industry certified? How do we get our labor like really like teach them how to do the work well, right, and grow careers for them? Like we're going to build tools for them. We need people that know how to work the tools, right, to build the career. So before we do that, talk about how you like what is Milwaukee doing in the trade space now. And then maybe let's talk through some options, some future endeavors, like where is your passion to grow in the OPE space?
Yeah, no, I think, and I'm going to give you some bigger picture things that are deep, me personally, I'm deeply passionate about as well. And Milwaukee is really committed to. And you touched on one thing, which is, hey, we do not take leadership lightly.
Yeah.
And leadership at Milwaukee and leadership across an industry is about stewardship. It's about growing a space and being committed to what that actually means. What are the values deeply within that industry that say, how do we know it's getting somewhere really important? And you've seen that with the trades over the last 15 years. Look at the, skilled trades, inclusive of landscaping, learning about their own pricing power, their value of the work they do. Yep. You hear now about the largest companies in the world are recognizing that they can't get where they want to go from a data center build-out standpoint without skilled labor.
Yep.
And they're saying, hey, this is a bottleneck, and we need to invest in it. And what Milwaukee really believes is we make it interesting, we make it compelling for new entries, but leadership opportunities are going to come through that entrepreneurship growing, but also through a recognition that if you really want to lead, you're willing to make some sacrifices. Mm-hmm. And I want to kind of take this in two ways. One, we host and we are willing. We have campuses throughout the state of Wisconsin. We have manufacturing facilities throughout Missouri, Mississippi, into service centers in Indiana. We have sites all over the country that we open our doors, and we want to say to anyone listening and to you, like, we will host a leadership seminar that you guys want to put on at any time.
Yeah.
You just reach out.
Yeah.
Hey, we believe that our facilities are for the stewardship of the industries and verticals that we serve.
Yeah.
Landscaping, tree care is squarely in that crosshair of the verticals we value and care about.
Yeah.
And our doors are wide open. We host leadership summits. We host upskilling.
Yeah.
Internal business management talent acquisition, talent retention, safety summits, how to really understand deeply like the values of safety, both from a training and from like a commitment standpoint, what it actually means. And our doors are wide open because we are so committed to both developing leaders and also upskilling, because those are two different things.
Yep.
Upskilling is required. Leadership is a commitment and a sacrifice for those who decide to go into it. Because if you know that you take chunks of your body every day to give it to others, so that they can be the best version of themselves, because you know that's what it takes to be as a leader. And I'm really passionate about everyone in this space, in this room that is working at Milwaukee knows that the leaders at our company fully support them. And if they ever wanted to have a personal conversation, a professional conversation, we're here for it. And that's what we also want to offer this industry as a whole. Now, if you kind of pair off that a little bit and say, hey, what has Milwaukee done within the verticals? Milwaukee Tool does not put our name on billboards. We do not put our name on race cars, and we don't put our name on stadiums and the fences of
the walls,
ballparks. Every bit of our expense is directly into the user. And it's done in a couple ways. It's done through product. It's done through getting users who are actually professionally capable and do this for a living, so they understand the value of what we do day in and day out. It's centered on the user. It's also about training centers and putting, training protocols, hosting training events, providing the equipment for first-time apprentices or new to industry participants, so that they are familiar and can learn how to be productive with a string trimmer, or safer with a hedge trimmer, and be able to provide the level of commitment and respect for, hey, this isn't just first day on the job, here you go, you're ready to go.
Which is this industry, by the way. That's the
thing. Need the labor.
That's what we need to talk about.
I need the labor. Let's get the guys. I mean, I've heard so many horror stories, war stories, whatever you want to call them, of like scalped lawns that the guy gave him a string trimmer day one, and you realize this guy's never done this before.
That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, someone gets seriously injured or killed.
Yes.
Because you don't know how to operate a machine.
Yes. Especially heavy equipment. You look at, and we do
or hand tools. You cut a finger off or something with a hedge trimmer. Like those things happen, right? Every day. You sling a rock in somebody's eye with a weed eater because you don't know which way to go, right?
Yep. And, I think our commitment is like both. It's a question. Hey, how do we help? How do we best get involved? And we're constantly asking that question with the partners that we're developing at shows like this, in our private meetings with national enterprises, some of the regional players. And it's about the two things I said to start this conversation, productivity and safety. And then it's like, how do we best serve that? But we have to be committed to recognize that training upskilling is a part of that. What we also do in multiple areas of the country, and we do this globally, quite honestly, in every market that we serve, is how do you get involved in this system that educates as early as possible? And it's not just about trade school, vocational school. Hey, we have now programs where we're getting into the high schools. We're getting into the middle schools.
So good.
And we actually, I'm really lucky because I come from a family of educators. My cousin is a superintendent of a pretty large school district, and they're putting major investments into the middle schools for camps, especially if you look at some of these areas of the country that they aren't going to be exposed to this, and they might not have the family structure. They might not have the upbringing that's going to allow them to think about where they can apply themselves for a career as an entrepreneur. And I think about a 12-year-old who is trying to figure out what they want to be when they grow up. A landscaper is a great place to look.
It's the life skills too, though, that you're pouring into these kids, right? Like, it's not just, even if you don't want to go be an entrepreneur, go work inside of a company, right? It's the life skills that they're being taught. Our local school system has a very, very, very good co-op program and heavy electrical presence there. They do really good job electrical. A lot of electricians come out of our high school system, and the kids love it. Like, the teacher there is just amazing. He's very passionate about it. He could go run his own business for sure. but he wants to give back to his students. And these kids come out with skills, and we have a friend locally in our small group at church, and one of their sons is like, man, he's in his first year, and he's like, man, this is so cool. Like, I can literally go wire a house by the end of this year. And it's like that comes from these type of investments.
And, they have a physics understanding at a very early age that is practical and, applied from a safety standpoint. Like, hey, I can avoid risk because I understand this. I look at the same for any, young person or person who's interested in battery equipment. When you start actually understanding the watt-hour capability, the watts out, the power draw, what I need from a runtime, what's in the total energy of these things, and you start thinking about that and applying it to like, hey, what am I pulling and what am I drawing? What can I actually pull out of a wall versus what can I store in a battery source and discharge? You now start looking at the world differently because you're saying, hey, how do I do this more efficiently? And this is the question of the moment, because we all know we're faced with, grid challenges. We're faced with energy challenges. You think about oil and gas. The pricing, what it's going to mean long term. How do we become energy capable, both locally and nationally? Stored energy is going to be a part of that equation, and understanding it and getting familiar with it so that you can make good decisions as an entrepreneur or as a business owner, not just for your equipment, but like in your place of business. Because make no mistake, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, your business being energy independent of something that might be less reliable is going to be a value.
It's going to matter,
And so I encourage everyone to get familiar, because it's a physics understanding that's going to be important for business owners.
And that's not going to be, it's not just being taught, right? Like, it's not just something that's like the average Joe's going to pick up and learn, right? So you get around it, and you learn how to purchase tools, right? You learn how to actually, this stuff makes sense. And the problem that we run into, guys, most of you out there listening know the industry is like this. If you're listening to this show, you're trying to grow yourself, right? You're trying to grow a better company. But a lot of guys in this industry, there's 30,000 people here, right? And at the show, and I would probably say 25,000 of them at a minimum, they're like, battery's not ever going to do anything. Battery's not going anywhere. This, that, and the other. It's like, battery's here, guys. Like, battery's here. It's not leaving. It's not leaving. You should get on board, or you will get left behind. Like, we were talking, I was at a breakfast the other day, and the dude was like, our municipality just implemented a blower law that by the end of the year they're going to have to get rid of gas, get rid of two-cycle. They're going to have to go to battery-powered. And it's just like, he's like, well, I don't know what we're going to do. I was like, well, I got an option for you in Milwaukee. But it's one of those things, like, it's coming, guys. And the education of understanding it helps you not feel like, one, people don't get you know who, this is so off topic, but you know who doesn't get scared when a lot of people go up and public speak, right? And they get nervous, they shake, they don't know what they're saying. The people that don't get scared to go get up in front and talk of thousands of people are the ones that prepare. The ones that are prepared for that, they don't care. It's like, I know what I'm here to do. I'm prepared. I'm very confident in what I'm doing. There's no reason to be fearful, right? There's no reason to be fearful for this future of battery tech if you're actually prepared for it. But if you have no idea what you're going into, I would be scared too.
And it's daunting. You're not getting a consistent message from all of the brands. And I think we want to be a voice of consistency and credibility. We talked about that. But I also go back to what you just said a minute ago, which is, hey, like, I'm going to be very clear. I do not want regulation to be the reason why people need to think about battery. I don't believe in that, as Milwaukee Tool, let alone personally. I want, again, going back, like, I want it because the productivity and the safety are proof that you should be paying attention to this. And it's going to make meaningful difference for your business. And I'm also not here to tell you gas is going away.
Exactly.
I'm not telling you that you shouldn't use it. I'm telling you that there is going to be a point where it's safer and it's more reliable and capable day in and day out to run the right battery system. And start putting your dollars to work towards it now, and you will be way ahead of your competitor in your market that's still running gas.
And that's coming quick. That's coming quick.
And just look at everybody who's listening to this has a friend who's an electrician, has a friend who's a plumber, has a friend who's a mechanical contractor, or somewhere in the other trades who's made this leap already. And I'm not saying it's just with Milwaukee. There's other brands too. But you've seen their businesses grow and scale, become more organized, more capable. They're able to focus their efforts inside their business on other things to drive growth because they have a reliable tool day in and day out that they trust and they're investing in, and they're not waiting to buy gas on the spot and then clean up and then deal with service and spark plugs and oil and other components or issues, because they have a reliable system that they're investing in. They know how to navigate that seasonality within it. That it's going to be a major leg up for the brands or the operators who figure this out in unregulated markets, regardless of what's happening in California.
Yep. That's a fantastic point that I've really... So I'm younger in the grand scheme of things, right? I've never really known a life where electricians, plumbers, other HVAC haven't used handheld Milwaukee tools like this, right? I've never known a life like that because I'm only 25. So, that's what I've known the past 10, 15 years when I really get out and see the world. Can you give me an example... And this is genuinely a genuine question here. What's one of those other industries that you could make a comparison to, right? Because in our mind, we just can't comprehend switching from gas to battery. We can't comprehend. It just seems unfathomable. It's not scalable, right? But was there one of these industries, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, that were using other tools that that it was kind of a similar situation that now it's just an everyday way of life?
Yeah. I mean, there's
do you have a specific industry that you can go to?
So every vertical has this aha moment.
Yeah.
And it was a different energy source for each of them. And I'll give you a couple because I think they all kind of work well together. If you take the big three, the MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and just put them together and you think about, before they were investing in battery, what were they doing? Well, they were buying best of whatever capability in a corded tool.
So
they'd have a, they might have a Makita circ saw. They might have a Milwaukee Sawzall. They might have a, DeWalt hole shooter or drill. They might, and it's all corded. And they just grab whatever color they thought was the best, and that's what they went with. And their work was about pulling out extension cords, getting on ladders, setting up their site because they still had to work overhead.
Yeah.
You still had to install lights. You still had to install. I mean, look around every room you go into. Everything still needs to be touched. You just did it with cords. A lot of setup, a lot of trip hazards, a lot of safety issues. What happened with the onset and what we viewed as the big opportunity wasn't to replace those 7 tools that they used every day.
Yeah.
It was to develop the tools around it that made them more productive so that they could do value-added enhancements and change the way they work.
Yeah.
And so now you go and if you could go back to the 90s and walk into one of those service electricians, plumbers, one of their trucks, you'd see 7 tools. And they had the same 7 tools, and they do it. They make it work. Mm-hmm. You go in there now, there's 80 tools.
Yeah. They have a tool for everything.
They got a multi-tool. They've got a die grinder. They've got a large grinder. They've got a small grinder. And now they've got things that are enabling them to do troubleshooting work to complete projects faster, to get more done, to now sub out more of the work within their crew and be able to have better pricing controls, better margin, better power inside of their business because they can do so much more productively with the equipment that they carry inside their van or their truck.
Yeah.
Same goes for, you look at GC, you look at roofing, what a battery-powered nailer has meant. And as you look at even siding, what that's going to mean when we develop those, that you no longer need a compressor. You no longer need to run out the hose, the power source, the generator. Yeah. It's a battery-powered tool. You've got them on the roof. You're running. You don't have any setup.
Yeah.
You have a much safer environment because you don't have cords and hoses running up and down 30 feet of roof line with ladders and equipment on a roof that's going to slide up.
I never thought about trip hazards like crazy.
And so now not only are they more productive, they're safer. And now what are they doing? They can work in the winter. They can work in the rain. They can work in, not that you want to, but in environments where I got to get things done and it's safer to deal with. And then you look at things like power utility and you say all right, how do we complete a power utility setup before a battery-powered crimper or battery-powered cutter. And it was hydraulics, getting in lifts, a lot of issues where you make a cut and that hydraulic fluid snaps and you've got a hydraulic mess that you got to clean up, and you're in a bucket up 50 feet next to a junction box. We also were able to take and add safety into tools that are now remote cutters. You can set up a cutter on you shut down power, but they still, on some of these 10,000 volt lines, they still retain a lot of energy even after. You now can remotely set up that cutter, get 200 yards away, remotely pull the trigger on that crimp, and it's going to cut, and you're out of harm's way.
Yeah.
And so it's those types of things that we look at that no one thought were possible.
Probably incomprehensible.
Yeah, right? And we would have said, we're going to be able to do that. If we had called that shot 20 years ago, they'd be like,
you're insane,
sure? Yeah. And now we're doing that in a landscape trade and an arborist trade, and some of them see it.
Yeah.
Right? I say shared values, shared culture, shared vision. We have that in these user verticals. Not everyone does.
Yeah.
And, if you start actually asking questions like, what could this mean? Now the aha moments happen, and we can start having really meaningful dialogue about it.
Yeah.
And then, hey, look, there's one of inside the trades. There's also hey, pull it out of your pocket right now, just smartphone in general. Look at whether you're Apple or you're Google or whoever, iOS, Microsoft Windows. Those are institutions that very hard to disrupt the user experience because they are such productivity engines for you to run your business, for you to communicate with your family, for you to communicate with the world broadly, that it's going to be very difficult to disrupt. And what they've done is they've maintained a compatibility back to that original design, and they're constantly thinking about how do I add capability to this every year and get more productive for the users who embrace it. That's not a lot different than a battery system.
Yep.
And breaking compatibility is the cardinal sin because you force everyone to start over. And so if you look around Milwaukee and you see M12, which is portable productivity, M12's here because it can replace hand tools and it can do a lot of work that, you can see what a larger battery can do on a much smaller platform that's compact, and do value-added services, especially if you're a landscaper, on things that were a lot of repeat repetition work that was, quite honestly, a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
M18 is a workhorse platform that we're not coming off of. If M18 is on a curve, it's 20 times more capable than it was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And that curve is constant. Right?
Yeah.
So you move out 5 years, you move out 10 years. What's that curve? You're beyond what you expect from your gas stuff today, if you just look at what we're able to do right now. So
that's insane.
I encourage users to really, all listeners, to really think about, the other areas where you've trusted technology that's really made a difference in your business. That's where we are in this industry as well with battery-operated technology, especially Milwaukee systems.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's so good. Building cred, though, right? Building cred. That's where we're at.
Do it reliably, responsibly, and incredibly,
That's amazing. Well, Ryan, I appreciate you making time to take this interview. Where, I guess, as we go into the neck steps, right, we're going to have some more conversations about how we can really help, change this industry, because that's where my passion is. And you're obviously neck deep in OPE, right? So you want to see this thing grow as well. What can people be doing? What are questions they can be asking, Milwaukee? What is it? User feedback. What's a way that users out there could help you guys, help perfect these products, get better answers, get more improvement? What can we do as users to help Milwaukee grow?
Yeah, I think we care a lot about listening.
Yeah.
And so first having that, being willing to have that voice.
Yeah.
I think a lot of users don't realize we are there to listen and absorb feedback, and we are happy for you to vent.
Real communication.
We're happy to hear you tell us all the things that you hate about about if it's a gas product, if it's a Milwaukee product, if it's a competitive product. We are there to listen and absorb that.
Lay it on.
And trust that, a guy wearing a red Milwaukee shirt is there to listen, and that's going to be feedback that is very valuable to us. And I think that, whether it's true or not, these users haven't felt like they've had that ability to voice and actually be listened to. And I think Milwaukee, really, we value that. We try and bring that and embody that. And, you know, understanding pain points, understanding the things that really make this work hard, borderline impossible, make people want to quit, make people, I can't retain people because of this.
Yeah.
I have a major issue recruiting or getting people into my business because of this. I have a hard time getting new contracts, new customers because of this. We want to help.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I think are industry-wide that move the needle. It's not about, I need 5 more minutes of runtime on a blower.
No.
I need 2 more. I need 2 more cuts with this pruning. No, what are those things that are game changers, disruptive? We talk a lot about disruptive innovation. What are the things that are disruptive to your business, meaning like it's really hard to operate, that we need to disrupt in order to get someplace meaningful?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that, if you have thoughts, ideas, we want to collaborate and help. But it starts with a shared understanding.
Yep.
And knowing that we're there to listen and we will take action.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, man. Well, where can people follow along with you? You on LinkedIn anywhere? Are you open to sharing any of that?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm big on LinkedIn. I believe that it's where we make industry contacts. That's where we follow competitors. We follow our colleagues that we don't see every single day. Meet new people. I'm not a big social media, Instagram thing, but LinkedIn is kind of where I go for professional hub.
Yeah.
And I'm out there. I'm very visible, and I'm always good for a conversation.
Yeah.
Reach out anytime. You'll see my information out there.
And I can tell you that's true.
More than happy to talk.
That's true. I was at Pipeline and saw Ryan, and I was like, hey, we got to talk. We sat there and talked for 20 minutes, and then walking in the hall today, I was like, hey, we got to talk again. And you sat there and talked again, and now we're doing a show. So, I'm very, very pleased to be doing this and getting this thing started. The industry's going to change in the next couple of years, and I'm excited to hopefully try to help be a leader in that and see some real change and help guys really grow companies that one, feed their own families right, feed their employees' families, and are sustainable for the environment as well. So I'm excited, man. I appreciate your time here at the show. Everybody check out MilwaukeeTool.com. You can see all these tools and get everything there. But lots of stuff coming in the new year. Lots of stuff's coming in years to come. That stuff on the horizon.
Change is constant.
Yeah.
Change is constant. And, hey, I really appreciate you having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're excited to build partnerships, and this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
So
conversations like this one. I love it, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If we can ever help you, please reach out and let us know. That's going to wrap this one up from the Milwaukee booth here at Equip Expo 2025. Thank you for tuning in. Without any further ado, that's going to wrap this one up, and we'll catch you here on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.